Hello, and thank you for joining me for the Bioidentical Hormone Replacement Therapy webinar, also known as BHRT. So my name is Trish Banks, and I'm here in Glen Allen, Virginia at our clinic, Renew Health and Wellness. Tonight, I'm very excited to talk about this subject because I came in here 11 years ago seeking help. And I found it in the form of BHRT. I have been on it ever since, and I plan to be on it for the rest of my life. So if you're suffering, and you must be either curious or having some symptoms to be watching this webinar, if you're suffering with any of the side effects of low hormones or imbalanced hormones, such as insomnia, or perhaps you can fall asleep and then you wake up and you can't go back to sleep. Perhaps you're fatigued and you're wondering why you're so tired all the time. Brain fog or memory loss for men and women can affect after your hormone levels drop. And there's so many more. Joint pain, low sex drive, painful intercourse. So many things happen when our hormone levels drop. So tonight we're going to address those things. I'm going to talk to you about our natural hormone replacement program here and tell you all about it, how we do it, also the science behind it. And hopefully, if you are suffering, you'll call us and get the help that you need. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking. I'm just going to tell you we're going to do a PowerPoint here tonight going through the program. And then at the end, I'll come back on. Our phone numbers will be up. So our consults are free. So if you see anything here tonight and you want to talk more about it, please reach out. All right, let's get started. So as I mentioned, BHRT is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. We like to say BHRT because it's a lot easier than that whole big mouthful. Well, what is it, you might ask? It's simply bioidentical hormones. Ours come from a vegetable, a yam, that are identical to the hormones that you make in your body. So if you're postmenopause, you're not making hormones anymore. Your ovaries are retired, so you're definitely a great candidate for BHRT. Let's say you're still having a menstrual cycle, or even if you've had a hysterectomy and you still have your ovaries, you could still be producing hormones, but that does not mean that your hormones are balanced. So if you're suffering from any of the symptoms that I mentioned earlier, then you may very well be a good candidate for this program. And of course, we would run labs to check to see what your levels are before starting the program. So the hormones replace what you're missing. And that's the great news here. So if you can remember how great you felt in your 20s and 30s, you can have that back again. The hormones communicate perfectly with receptor cells, and they perform the tasks that your body needs. There's a lot of scientific research out now in support of BHRT, the support and safety of BHRT, and it's been used widely around the world since the 1930s. So we belong to a group called A4M, American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, and there are 80,000 plus physician members in this group now. They study all things anti-aging, but a large part of that is what we're talking about right now, natural bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So who needs it? Well, everyone who is hormonally imbalanced, or as I mentioned earlier, their hormone levels have dropped or they're completely gone. And why do you need it? Well, there's a lot of great reasons why. Number one really is health. I mean, I personally came in here 11 years ago to feel better. So I was coming in because I had all the symptoms. I was having hot flashes and night sweats and fatigue, and I had no sex drive. I could have been a nun. So I came in for the improved quality of life. I didn't realize until I started working here and actually learned all the science behind the hormone replacement therapy, how beneficial it was to my health and protecting me against many age-related conditions and diseases. So, a lot of people will say to me, oh, I guess my joints hurt, but that's because I'm older. Well, my joints hurt when I was in my 40s because I went through early menopause. I wasn't that old, but once I got my hormones replaced, my joints are fine, and now I'm in my 60s. So you can see, you know that your symptoms and your health are really in direct relation to your hormone levels. So how do you get hormones into your body? Well, there's different methods. So there's oral bioidenticals. Those are pills and sublinguals. There's transdermal in the form of creams and patches. And then we have pellets. So all of these ways to get it work somewhat, but we're going to talk about the way that we do it, which we believe is the best delivery method. And we use pellet therapy here. So why pellets? Well, the biggest reason is the consistency of it. So they work automatically in your body. They're little bitty tiny things. They look like Tic Tacs, and they are inserted under the skin in the fat layer in the hip. Your dosing is going to depend on your blood levels and what you need. It's very individually based. So once those pellets are inserted, and it's not painful, I just want to mention it's a very quick procedure. You're completely numb. After your procedure, you can go right back to work or whatever you're doing. There's no downtime with this. I oftentimes get my inserts, we call them, in the morning and work all day, and I'm fine. So it's a very simple procedure. But the benefit to this is that then my levels are going to rise, and 24/7, I have a source of consistent hormones. So that's why we love it. I've had no symptoms of menopause forever. So I don't get hot flashes anymore. I haven't for 11 years. I have a great intimacy because I have all of my hormones back. There is no other delivery method that can offer the consistency of pellet therapy. It's also safe. I think it's the safest way to get hormones because lower doses can be administered. So an example for this was I was on synthetics for about a year post-menopause before I could, find this place. And I will tell you, I got the same dose you would get. They just shoot in the dark and prescribe. I was on Prempro. And if you'd looked at it's a tablet. I mean, it's like a little pill that I took. If you looked at my pill, it would say 1 milligram of estradiol and 0.5 of progesterone. So over the course of 3 months, these pellets are time released for 3 months. So over the course of 3 months with the oral synthetic hormones, I actually was ingesting 90 milligrams of estradiol. In our program, I do a pellet and I do 6 to 10 milligrams of estradiol, and that lasts me for the 90 days. So you can see that I can do much lower doses and I get much better, consistent results. So this is a wonderful reason to try pellet therapy. It's also very hassle-free. I'm not rubbing creams on. I'm not having to take pills all the time. And I also did creams. I didn't mention that, but I did that as well. And it was no fun. So with creams, you're rubbing it on in the morning and at night. And here in Richmond, it's a hot summer day, and you rub your cream on and you run out and get in your car to go to work. You start sweating, and guess what? Your cream sweats right off onto your work clothes. So it's just not a consistent delivery method. Pellets, we believe, are the best method. What can you expect when you do get the hormones? Well, a lot. Definitely increased libido. That's a wonderful part of this. Improved muscle tone. Increased skin elasticity and moisture. Increased bone density. And on that note, I will tell you, we have several. I even have a testimonial on our YouTube channel about women who've come in here with osteopenia and osteoporosis, and they're on medication for that. They get on our hormone therapy, and then the next thing you know, at their next bone scan, they come back in and they're jumping up and down. I don't have it anymore. My bones look great. So not only does this protect your bone density, it can increase it as well. It's reduced risk of heart disease. I have a big study on it. I have a couple studies on this and the benefits of good hormone levels and heart health. For women, no more hot flashes or night sweats, thank goodness. More energy, better mental clarity and focus. Improved sleep, which is huge. I have a lot of people coming in here having sleep issues, men and women. Much better mood, much less irritable. So your family will appreciate it. And for women, vaginal moisture and rejuvenation. So if you have some atrophy, which happens without good hormone levels, this actually reverses that. And for men, you can expect better blood flow and improved erectile function. What is the process? So how do we do this? Well, you'll come in and you'll meet with Linda or myself, and we'll get you set up and do initial labs. And then we're going to draw a big lab there, a CBC panel, which is a complete blood panel. We also check all your hormones, even men, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. For women, we'll check your FSH, which is your follicle stimulating hormone. We're going to look at your thyroid and B12 levels when we do initial labs. For men, it's the same labs minus the FSH, but we also add the PSA for you, the prostate test for you to check that. So once those labs come back in, you'll come back. That's usually about 2 weeks following your lab, and you'll meet with a practitioner here. And we have a large medical staff here. Our medical director is Dr. Lawrence Miller. He's an MD. We also have 2 PAs here, an NP, 2 RNs, and 2 MAs. So we have a nice large medical staff, but when you come back, you will meet with a prescribing practitioner to go over your labs with you. They do a little mini physical. They check your history that you filled out with us when you came in to make sure it's a health history, to make sure you're a good candidate for this. And then when you're approved for it, you get your first insert. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not painful. It's a quick procedure. They'll put in what you need. So for men, that's going to be testosterone. And for women, it's either estradiol and testosterone, or sometimes our younger women won't need estradiol yet, and they'll just do the testosterone. So that's inserted. We also prescribe progesterone for women here and some men if they're having sleep issues. And the progesterone is not a pellet. It is going to be a sublingual that goes under your tongue at bedtime. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So once you've got your insert going and you start doing your progesterone at bedtime, your levels are coming up. And we're going to see you 4 weeks out after you get your insert. And the reason we want to see you then is we want to say, where are you? We have a zone here. We call it the happy zone. So we want to make sure you're, going in the right direction. And hopefully, if you're not in the zone, we want to get you there. So at 6 weeks, we've pre-scheduled a supplemental insert if you need it. So it's pre-scheduled. If you don't need it, we call you and say, your labs look great. You don't need anything right now. But if they're not perfect, we fix you or adjust you at that 6-week insert. And then we see you back here just a few weeks after that for your 10-week lab and then your 12-week insert. So inserts here, because these pellets are time released for 3 months, will be every quarter, every 3 months. So you'll be pre-scheduled to come in for a lab, followed by your insert 2 weeks later. So it's very easy to keep track. We do send appointment reminders to your cell and also to your email, so you won't miss any appointments with us. So we typically will see you every 3 months. Now, what hormones do you get? I mentioned it before, but women, it's going to depend on what you need. What are you missing? So if you're postmenopause, you're going to need estradiol, testosterone in the pellet form, and then remember that progesterone is going to be a sublingual that goes under your tongue at bedtime. And I do also want to mention that progesterone, because we're not a pharmacy, you would actually need to purchase from a compounding pharmacy. So we would fax your script into the pharmacy of your choice, and they'll contact you for shipment and payment. You can do shipping, or if you happen to have a compounding pharmacy near your home, you can pick it up at the compounding pharmacy. We have a list of those here at Renew that we provide for you. And so that's the only thing that's outside of our fee. It would be for the progesterone, because that goes to the compounding pharmacy. All right, what about men? Well, for men, it's mainly testosterone here. So your pellets are all testosterone. And your dose is also going to depend on your labs and your weight. There's a formula for it on what you'll need. And then, of course, I do want to mention we do labs before every insert, and we also have you fill out a symptom sheet. And that's going to give us a really good idea. Oh, you know what? Tom feels great when his testosterone's at 900. We're going to keep him at 900. We do the same thing for women. We know the happy zone. It's a range, but some people feel great at the low end, and some people need to be a little bit higher to get the full symptom relief. So we learn you. We learn you as this process goes on with the continual labs and the symptom sheets. Men are also given progesterone if they're having issues with sleep, because it is the sleep hormone. So it will really help get you into those nice, deep REM sleep. Okay, so that is our program, and this is my contact information. Trish Banks, 804-447-2332. Our website's up here. trish.banks@renewmetoday is my email address. So yes, please contact me, and if you'd like more information on the hormones, or if you have questions, just give me a call, and I'm happy to get right back with you. And I really want to thank you for joining me. And I also want to encourage you, if you watch tonight and you say, well, that sounds great, but I don't know, is this for me? I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody who comes in here. You just have one life. And so if you're not fully enjoying it, if you don't have great health, if you don't have great quality of life, this is for you. So please give me a call today, and we'll get you in here and get you started on restoring your health and your life. Thanks again.